Okay, so we can start. So firstly, thank you for being here. Here, Zerina's talking. Yes, we decided to establish this Q&A session. In this way, we can understand better the RPA technology and the training that we are offering. So on the line, there is my colleague and official RPA instructor, Aleix Vila. So thank you, Alex, for taking your time for this session.
Of course.
And nothing. So we will speak, and I will left you some time to ask directly Alex what your concerns about RPA. If you have any issue in hearing me or not seeing the screen, just interrupt me. Firstly, I wanted to present you what we are doing. So I'm Zerina. I'm working for the KTU University Department of KTU Partnering Solutions. And KTU is a consultative, it's a leader in consultative technology solutions. I'm working as a career advisor because of the huge digital skill gap that there is on the market. So that's why we decided to establish some partnerships. SAP, Salesforce, in this case, Automation Anywhere, that is a global leader in RPA. We support individuals and freelancers mainly, who maybe don't have the benefit of working in a company that is able for the training to pay for the training. Then we have also our own platform that is K2 Connect, that is a human cloud platform that links education to our recruitment services. So in this platform, consultants can interact with also recruiters, see job opportunity, etc. A part of let us supporting them for their training. So we all know the potential of RPA nowadays in the market. So it is referring to software programs that can do some repetitive manual tasks. Nothing. That's why we wanted to establish this session, because sometimes it's not clear which information are covered in the course we are offering. So it is normal that you might have some question. Also because you have different backgrounds, different studying, different purposes. So I wanted to let the word that Alex speak. So firstly, Alex, what do you think that is the most important thing in RPA? What can be a great advantage for a person to know this technology?
Well, this technology is great for companies because it basically eliminates cost. Okay, so if we go to the point, I mean, what this platform is going to do is going to replace repetitive jobs, repetitive tasks. So you don't need to employ a person to do them, and therefore you can either have less personnel, or you can employ your personnel in more productive and creative tasks. Okay, so that's what, you know, at the end of the line, that's what RPA offers to companies. It's basically reducing costs, and also it has other advantages. Okay, so when you have to break down all your business processes to streamline them, actually what you do is you arrange everything in a certain way in your company, so things are more organized, things are more transparent, so you have more visibility. So it forces you to analyze every process in your company, so you're able to automate it, streamline it. Okay, so
Yeah, in
I would
fact,
say
they
that those
are.
are the. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, nothing. I just wanted to add that they are They are saying that the return of investment it's from 30 to 20 to 200%. So it's a quite huge return of investment. So companies are investing a lot nowadays, and I think each industry, as far as I see from consultants.
Yeah, and the other thing is, well, as everybody knows, we're in the middle of like a very strong investment and development in general in voice recognition software, AI, and all this is just going to become more and more complex and more accessible. So RPA is one of the companies that incorporates all this stuff. So if you start working with RPA today, obviously where things are now, that's just the beginning. Okay, so eventually, now we have a cloud edition. We have more and more third-party collaborations with bots that you can develop as a third-party company, or just get them from, from their bot store. You have more and more AI in certain parts of the platform
Yeah.
that will do more and more complex things. Okay, so we're not just talking about very basic repetitive things anymore. Not only that, I mean, every time it's getting more and more complex. Okay, so it's potentially going to be replacing more complex tasks. Yep.
Great. So, and regarding the course that we are offering, can you briefly explain the structure of the course? I mean, will be consultants able to work to create bots from their own alone at the end of the course?
Yes. So if you try to figure out well, what's going on in a position in which you have to work with RPA with automation anywhere, well, you have to think about, it depends on the size of the company. It depends on the amount of bots you have to manage. Okay, it depends on the amount of machines that you have at your disposal. Okay, so you can have several scenarios, but let's say in an average scenario, okay, so like a medium-sized company, a company with, I don't know, let's say maybe more than 50, in between 50 to 200 employees, that kind of company, well, you're not going to have a lot of people working in the RPA department, maybe one, maybe two, but normally it's appreciated if you have both a technical and a business background. Okay, so if you have a combination of both, all right. So you don't have to be one person that is very technical in terms of full stack developer and all that, but if you have some developer skills, it helps. The bigger the company, the more people will be in the RPA team. So then you can afford to have really technical people, really business people, so they can talk together. So the thing here is that someone needs to understand the business. Okay, they need to understand all the processes, what you do with your resources, what you do with your infrastructure, sorry, and then the technical part, or the same person in some cases, it will need to translate all this information into the RPA, in this case automation anywhere infrastructure, okay, which in this case is basically writing some kind of pseudo scripts. Okay, so it's like a pretty intuitive platform in which you will be assigning commands in order. Okay, so it's like writing a script for the machine to go through. All right, so if you know what is a loop, if you know what is an if-else statement, okay, which are really basic programming blocks, okay, that even nowadays kids, at school when they are like 12, they start learning about that stuff. Only with these basics, you can already construct pretty basic bots. And of course, yeah, any consultants that come to this class will learn the platform, all of these commands, and at the level of being able to build functional bots, yeah, they will be skilled up by the end of the class. At the level of being able to manage a complex architecture, managing a fleet of bots and deployment and scaling, all that's a different thing. That's more for an architect.
Yeah,
But
of
in
course.
terms of being able to build, manage, operate bots, yes, that's what this class is about. It's a class about learning the platform, learning what's possible, and being able to create your bots, managing them from the, I'm going to say, from the fleet, point of view, from the, the big scale point of view. That's something for architects. Okay, so that's the scope of the class. We call it mastering bots. It's about knowing what kind of bots you can create. We have a few practical exercises. Actually, most of the class is hands-on, a practical exercise. So by the end of the class, they can build pretty much anything they like. Yep.
So it's an entirely practical course. Of course, you will cover the theory, but it's more centered and focused on the development of bots. So you told us that also the interface it's user friendly, so it's not difficult to manage. So great. Consultants do not require a technical background. better if they have, but they can learn.
Well,
Yeah.
in here, I mean, let's say if you want to create a bot, you can choose between a library of commands. Okay, so you have to imagine, okay, when you create a bot, it's a bit like if you are dictating the program what to do. Okay, sometimes it's going to be open Excel, go to cell A2, get the value, and then copy it and send it by email. Okay, it can be something simple. So that it's easy to do. Anyone can learn that. But then other commands are more complex. Other commands can be, okay, I want to integrate via the REST API and fetch a value from, I don't know, something like a SQL database. And then I also need to encrypt this data and send it to a different system. Okay, so the commands are pretty simple, but then what happens inside the commands, that can get a bit more complex. You understand what I'm saying? So depending on the bot you create, you're going to need to handle material that's more developer oriented. Okay, you can still create the bot, but what happens inside these specific commands are going to require more of a technical background. In these cases, normally you will need a business person and a developer person working together. If a person can do both, better. Yeah, so that's a bit that's the idea.
Okay, great, thank you. And so after the course, during the course, I will learn how to create bots. Then after the course, can I continue to create bots using the software, the automation software?
Yeah. So
Okay.
now actually Automation Anywhere is in a big transition, all right?
Mhm.
So far we had an on-premise solution, okay? So this on-premise solution required you to install software, okay, in machines and to authenticate the machines, okay? So actually let's say the license or the authorization to run the software was linked to a certain person and to a certain device. And that was the case until until version 11. Okay, so version 11 has been has been replaced now. It's still active. Okay, you can still work with the last three versions, but the next version is Automation Anywhere 2019, and this is a cloud-based version of the platform. Okay, and they kind of moving to the cloud software as a service paradigm, a bit like Salesforce. Okay, so we're in this transition. Okay, we're just moving from one to the other. In terms of teaching the class, we're still working on the transition. Okay, we still need to update the knowledge and the contents to the new version. In both cases, okay, whether you want to do it with the on-premise version or the cloud version, it's pretty much the same. Okay, so the content is interchangeable. There's just a few minor difference for the bot constructor. Okay, so what you learn in one is going to be useful for the other one. It's just working in a browser instead of working in a program in your computer. Right, so we're
Great.
just transitioning from that probably on Q1. Okay, so the first quarter 2020 will still be dragging a few classes with the old system, but eventually we'll move it to the new one. But there are community editions for both. Okay, so we help students download it and prepare the computer. We specify what the limits are, and after the class, they will keep that forever. Okay, there's not a limitation. You have pretty much every functionality. The only limitations are the number of machines that you can use with your automation platform. Okay, it's like something like 5 machines for a small business. Okay.
And does the Automation Anywhere platform require, in order for me to create the bots, do I need to install something, or can be integrated with the system that I used?
Well, as I was saying, the version 11, okay, so the previous version, it was required that you downloaded an application, okay, so you had like an executable file, okay, and then this is just using your laptop as the platform, to run. Now on the next version, okay, the version Automation Anywhere 2019, that's going to be cloud-based. So that one is subscription-based, so you just need to log in to a browser. Okay.
But can be used to let's say, because I know that can be integrated with SAP, Salesforce, all IT
Yeah.
systems. Is it correct? Okay.
Yeah, both of them. That doesn't have anything to do with where the platform runs. Okay, so I mean, in terms of infrastructure, the up to version 11, it was based on a server client architecture, but the client have to be on premises. Okay, so and the server also had to be on premises, or you could maybe install it in an Amazon server. All right, with the cloud-based version, you can use it with one of the servers they provide, or you can even have your own dedicated servers, maybe also at Amazon. Okay, but the big difference is that you operate it through a browser. Okay, but in terms of integration, it doesn't change. It doesn't matter if you're running it from one of your on-premise systems, from a dedicated system hosted by Automation Anywhere, or from a third-party server. The integration just means all the APIs are available. Okay, so if you want to talk to SAP, if you want to talk to Salesforce, it is possible to do it. You can do it yourself, building it with your own API-based platform, or you can also use certain connectors that exist on the on the App Exchange or similar places for other platforms. Okay. So the big difference between the two versions is where it runs. Okay, so it runs, based on an executable on one of your machines on premises, or it runs directly through a browser and is stored on a server elsewhere. Yeah, is that making sense?
Yes, yes, yes. In fact, I was thinking about before letting the time for consultant to ask you something. I didn't mention that there is an official certification after the course. So this
Yeah.
certification is recognized globally, and it's of course official from Automation Anywhere. So I will unmute the people. So in case you have some question, just please, yeah, let us know. In this way, Alex can answer to you.
Yeah, actually, if you don't mind about the certifications, let me clarify that. So
Yeah.
as of today, we have several certifications in Automation Anywhere. This class puts you in the path of a couple of these certifications. Okay, so when you finish the class, we give you access to Automation Anywhere University, in which you can take some free theoretical courses. Okay, they're not as practical as what we do. And with the knowledge we give you in the class and the theoretical knowledge you gain on the website, you'll be ready for the advanced certification. Okay, so the Mastering Bots advanced certification, that just requires that you attend the class, that you go through some e-learnings in their website, and then you have to answer questions on a multiple select exam that you can do open book at your home. You have a limited time to do it, but you can have all your resources in front of you. So if you pass that, it has an 80% pass mark. It's quite complex, but perfectly doable after the class. You'll have the advanced certification. But on top of that, if you want to go further, okay, with the community edition, you can keep practicing on your own, and then you can apply for the master certification. Okay, and the master certification, it just builds on top of our course. Okay, so everything you learned applies, but they ask you to build 3 bots. They will give you 3 cases: easy, medium, advanced. Okay, so you will have to create 3 bots with your edition. Okay, and then submit them to Automation Anywhere, and then they will basically interview you. Okay, they will check for certain things in the bots. You will be interviewed by a person in Automation Anywhere, and if they think that these bots are professional and good to go, you will also add the master certification on top of the advanced one. Okay, so we have a tier 1 certification and a tier 2 certification. Just after taking our class, you're ready for the tier 1. With a bit more practice, you're on your path for the tier 2 level, which is the masters. Okay, so that's how the certification plan lays out for students. Yeah.
Great, thank you. I have
Yeah.
a question. So Adis, I don't know if you are able to speak. I unmuted you, Adis.
No, I did not have any questions.
Okay, perfect, great. Thank you. So, and I have another question. What benefits will RPA bring in the future, and which sectors will be most affected? What do you think?
Well, most sectors, but of course, any sectors that have to deal with a lot of repetitive tasks, okay, and also tasks that are rule-based, well, they're going to be the, the ones that benefit the most. Okay, so think about things like capturing data. Okay, so maybe receiving PDFs, invoices, or PDF claims, or things, that are predictable. Um, then copying that information into an Excel or into a database, or sending it on a different system, creating some programs that will calculate and then reply automatically. Okay, so any sectors that have this, I'm going to say, passing folders around type of jobs. Okay, so the jobs that don't involve a lot of creative or decision making tasks, all that is going to be automated. Okay, so most of what we call back office jobs, okay, so that is a clear candidate for automation. But as I said before, at the point in which we are, it's based in a technology that well, you should know. It's like screen scraping. Okay, so it's not only that we can instruct the machine to do, like a dialogue machine to machine. You can also tell the machine to use an interface like a human would do. Okay, so you can tell the machine, all right, open Excel or open Google Chrome, and then go to this URL, use this user and this password, logging into Salesforce, and then go to the accounts or create a report and export the report. So you can instruct the program not only to talk to another machine, directly through the APIs. You can also ask the machine to use the interface as a human. Okay, so you can imagine things like insurance, banking, telco. Okay, all these kinds of things, they're kind of good candidates for automation. Okay, so I'm going to say is pretty much any company that has this kind of situation. So, the more paperwork, the more, I'm going to say rule-based and predictable tasks, the more chances for RPA to step in and have a lot of things going on. All right. So just let me know if that is a good answer, or you have more information about that.
Yeah, for me it's a good answer. If they don't have any question, I have another question in chat. Is the Automation Anywhere software reliable, like an RPA approach?
Yeah, well, actually, Automation Anywhere is the leading company. It's the global leading company. The thing is that it's not the biggest in the EMEA region yet, because we have other companies in the EMEA region. Okay, so we have Blue Prism, UiPath. These companies are European, but Automation Anywhere is coming as well. So it's a US India venture. All right, but in terms of scalability and in terms of the size of a fleet, Automation Anywhere is recognized as the most powerful. Okay, performance wise. So the idea is that this company is for the massive enterprise. Okay, so it's designed for scale. Okay, so we're talking that some companies at the moment they have like 500,000 bots running at the same time. Okay, so there are companies running this amount of bots. Okay, so we have systems to be able to run this at a big scale, at a massive scale. Okay, so if you want to look at some of the features that allow for that, maybe later you might look into something called metabots. Okay, so we have the basic bots that will be like units, operational units that will do certain individual tasks. But then you will have metabots that will basically be like libraries or I'm going to say universal bots that can be part of several processes and share and connect different bots together so they can work as a group. We also have fleet management controls. Okay, we have like a control room. We have a place in which you can see all your devices. You can automate when a bot is going to run. You can move it from one machine to another. You can have even pools of devices. Okay, so you can have maybe, I don't know, 500 computers, and you just dispose of these computers depending on performance. Okay, so we have ways of detecting if a machine is kind of hitting the processor too much, or if we're running low on RAM, and then relocate bots from one pool of devices to another. These devices can be physical or virtual. So I suppose you can tell by what I'm saying that they build that for scale. Okay, and they built what we call the control room, like the brain, right? That can manage a whole fleet of bots across several machines on an enterprise structure. Yeah. So just let me know
Okay,
if
great.
that answers your question.
Yes, are you able to see my screen? Because I have a feedback that people are not able to see my screen.
I can see your screen.
Ah, okay, great. Okay, perfect. Yes, if you have any other question, just please you also use the chat if you have. Adis, do you have a question? Because I can see your hand. I will unmute you in this way because I don't understand, sorry.
No, I think I put back my hand by
Okay.
mistake. I pressed button.
Okay, great, sorry. If you have any question, just let me know. Okay, so, and regarding the course, more specifically, Alex, so it's a course that lasts 4 or 5 days, it depends. Students will be provided by a student's book, an exercise book. What will they have?
Oh yeah, let me talk about the class. So normally the class would be 4, maybe 5 sessions. We normally do a schedule something like 9 to 2, or it can be in the morning, it can be in the evening. It doesn't matter. We're flexible with that. We will have a bit of theory in the class about what's the control room and the architecture and all that, but the most important part is what you don't get anywhere else in terms of what they provide as free content. Okay, all these online they have like videos and self-learning activities, but what they don't provide is hands-on real cases. Okay, so that the course is going to be full of those. Okay, so just to give you a breakdown of what's included in the class. So we give you the coding best practices, and when I say coding, don't worry, you don't have to program, but actually when you see the commands in the interface, it looks a bit like coding, but you just drag and drop elements from one place to the other. Okay, so the best practices, what your bots need to have to be considered professional, especially if you want to go for the master certification and need to create the 3 bots. Well, that's going to be very important. Okay, so there's certain things that need to be included in your bot, like error detection, comments, a certain structure in in the way you organize your commands. All right. Then we're going to talk about the control room, what you can do, how to manage users. Then we're going to talk about the client setup, or in the case of the web edition, we'll talk about the equivalent in the web edition. And that's going to be just like one hour, maybe not more than that. After that, it's going to be practice. Okay, so we're going to be creating basic bots just to be able to maybe open websites, print text into a notepad, things like this. We're going to be talking about recorders. Okay, recorders, it's what what you hear. It's a capacity of the client that allows you to just click record and then do anything, and the bot will automatically pick all your actions and create a script with the actions. Okay, so normally that's not enough, okay, but that is normally the skeleton of some bots. You just do it as a human, the system records what you're doing, and then you fine tune, grain tune all the little details. So you can make it just perfect, okay? But the bulk of some of the bots will be what is recorded from your user input, okay? So keyboard, mouse, opening a program, closing a program, and so on. Okay, so we'll be talking about recorders, how do they work, how many are there, when to use them, how to store data to pass from command to command in variables, okay? What variables are there, how to use them. Then we're going to be showing several practical cases. Okay, so how to interact with CRM like Salesforce, or maybe like something like similar to SAP CRM. It's just a CRM that we have for this class. How to capture data from websites. Okay, so how to capture data from PDF, how to handle transfer of data between websites. So we're going to cover how to get XML information. Okay, that is just integration stuff. Okay, we're using the REST API. And if you're not very technical, don't get scared, because there's not a single line of code. It's just drag and drop, and the instructions are pretty clear, and it doesn't get too far-fetched, but just with clicks and typing a bit, you're going to be able to go to a website, extract information in XML format, and then send it to a database. Okay, so we'll be covering databases also. Okay, so how to work with databases with SQL protocols, Database Connect. We do need to have access for the class. Okay, so we'll be working with access, and that's the the set scenarios. Okay, so those are the scenarios that come with detailed instructions. So we do that, we make it work for every student, so everybody understands what's going on. Also, you can keep these bots, so later on if you have a project, you can just take them as a basis, okay, for some of the real life bots that you will have to build in your projects. On top of that, depending on the rhythm of the class, we'll give you a few extra bots, like, okay, so how you do it to create like a template for your bots that will arrange all the data in a certain folder structure. So we talk about best practices on how to keep your bots consistent, how to build them thinking of scale. And on the last day, normally what we'll do is a complicated project. Okay, this complicated project is going to mix a bit of all that's in the class. So what we do is we propose a scenario, we'll allow some time for students to try to work it out on their own, of course with our help. And by the end of the day, well, that's going to be your first, let's say, professional bot, okay, that covers a lot of different technologies working together. Okay, so that's what we do in the class. And then after that, as I said, you'll have to create an account in Automation Anywhere, do a bit of online training. That's pretty much all theoretic. And if if you want to take the certification exam, after all that, you'll be ready to pass it. Yeah.
Great,
Any
great. Thank you, Alex.
questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot see any question. Yes, I wanted to add that an important aspect of K2 is that we are not leaving you alone after the course. So our instructors are available if you have any question. They will answer to your doubt. And as I told at the beginning, you will be added to K2 Connect, that is our platform. So you can connect also there with the instructor, with your other students, with recruiters if you're looking for job opportunity, etc. So our main goal is to guide you during the entire path, to let you understand what you have to understand in order to get skilled and get certified, and of course always stay in contact and help you also to find better job opportunities. Why not? I cannot see any further question. Anyway, I will be available at my email address. I also in LinkedIn. Yeah, we can discuss further. So you can let me know your feedback, and if you have any additional question that we can discuss later as well. So I hope that I think that we go through everything that was much important, that most important parts of RPA and our courses. Thank you, Alex. Thank you very much. And nothing. Thank you all for being here during these 30 minutes. And nothing. Stay in contact. And I wish you a nice evening. And for any question, as I told, I'm available. Okay. Thank you very much, Alex.
All right. Thanks to you, Serena. So we'll be in touch.
Yes,
All right.
of course. Thank you.
Goodbye,
Bye-bye.
everyone. Thank you for assisting. Bye-bye.